1509, August 5th, 2026, right now marks 2,667 hours of progress on the global heart simulation. Currently, the algorithm that is being used as a precursor to voxel-based fog of war has been updated to always have the fog be able to detect the voxel it corresponds to, no matter the amount of voxels. So currently in this grid, there are 64,000 voxels, according to the editor, and the fog is always able to detect which voxel it belongs to, and so this is now working perfectly, and it was thought to be working perfectly a couple days ago, but what was found out was that it was only appearing to work perfectly because the voxels that were being tested with were large, and earlier during this day, smaller voxels were used in order to increase the density of voxels within the grid, and what was observed was that using smaller voxels there was some drift in which the fog would not appear exactly where the spear was, or in the same voxel, and what would be done is to actually draw the voxels here in order to visualize them, but the actual engine, the way it seems to be drawing voxels, or at least its debug would draw wireframes, are actually too slow to draw voxels in the tens of thousands. And so the intention going forward is to come up with a faster way to draw the voxels, as currently it is only really efficient to draw them when there are a couple hundred or below 2,000, though around 8,000 it seems to get really slow. So currently this does seem to be working perfectly, and where the drift in which the fog pixels would actually not render correctly was when the amount of subdivisions was increased to around 6, so increasing it to that amount now should show it working perfectly, and it is still appears to be working correctly, and using the voxels to visualize it, it does seem to be working quite well. And so the intention going forward, now that it is possible to have it be determined where a voxel lies within a grid, is to create 3D fog of war using the voxel-based approach. And as another stress test, increasing the amount to 125,000, it can be observed if it still works correctly, and that appears to be correct. And so moving it in all 3D directions, it does appear to be working still. And so the intention going forward is to create 3D fog of war using voxels, now that it is able to perfectly map the pixels of volumetric height fog to their corresponding voxel, and perhaps before creating the fog of war effect, it would perhaps be neat to look into creating algorithms to generate lines in a more faster, or generate wireframes in a more faster way by drawing lines that are long instead of a box at every single voxel.